Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of the Living World of Darkness Feels Across New York, the Werewolf venue. In this scene, we will be setting it on the Fianna Castle, Belvedere Castle. It's more of a consolation prize as castles go. It's a nice little building, but certainly no traditional castle. Still, the resemblance is enough to have it dubbed such a thing in the midst of Central Park. Uh, Maeve has, after the relocation of her packmate's body and some hurried running around to assist Katori in preparing, she has gone and very quickly walked herself back to the castle, keeping her composure, keeping her chin high, keeping her shoulders back, at least until she got inside. And even then, the worst that the little Fiona did was kind of put a hand over her mouth and bolt for her room. And she's been in there for pretty much the rest of the day. Uh, the kin, of course, know something is amiss. And when Deshi does make his approach to offer comfort, to offer some sort of sense of closure, maybe, either way, to offer some reason in the wake of the chaos and the tragedy, the kin will actually be very eager to let him in, to bring him up to the hall. And he'll see there that to either side of Maeve's door, a tray of this or that to hopefully tempt her to do something like eat, maybe, have been left out. They're, of course, untouched because she hasn't so much as opened the door since getting back. And after the kin has knocked on the door and spoken with her through it, he'll eventually abandon Deshi to the hallway as Maeve can be heard moving about. He'll hear potentially some water being splashed and whatnot as Maeve goes and tries to kind of dull a little bit of the red from her face. The downside of being very fair-skinned is that it's really easy to tell when someone's been crying. But after a little bit of movement, some splashing and whatnot, the door will finally open. And there stands Maeve in all of her I've been sobbing for hours glory. There's no need for a peony. This stuff's pretty real.
Yeah, she will stand there and he won't make any comments about her appearance. Uh, but he will simply look at her and he'll ask her if there's anything that she wishes to talk about.
And she'll go ahead and nudge the door open further to make it more of a welcoming thing and kind of knit her brows. What do you mean?
Well, I was there earlier and I witnessed the death of your packmate. And I'm sure that you felt it on a more closer connection that others would understand. And at times like this, we tend to close ourselves off. So I figured that I would just go around and see if anyone would need someone to talk to, or just a shoulder to cry on.
And of course, her face falls a little, and she'll offer kind of a sad smile and gesture into the room, just leaving the door hanging open. Yeah, probably. Appearances are everything, right? So you kind of have to hide.
I mean, he'll walk in and I don't know like how comfortable she is with him closing the door or not, so he'll just leave that alone.
She'll probably nudge it most of the way shut, not latch it, but nudge it the better part of the way, just because she's, a good girl. She doesn't close the door while boys are in her room. Jeez. But she'll nudge the door most of the way shut and come and flop down. She's got a pretty nice setup there. It's not a suite, but it's definitely a very large room with a massive fireplace that's, of course, unlit in the summer. Um, but there are large windows that have been flung open for the night air to come in. There's the massive bed, probably a large closeted area, a big old walk-in dealio. But more importantly, in front of the fireplace, there are hides and furs and whatnot, and she'll probably head that way and flop down. The mountain of tissues and whatnot are a pretty good indication of where that's where she's been settled for the last while.
And he will find a little spot and he will sit down.
Mm-hmm. And she'll kind of stare at the fireplace as opposed to making eye contact because A, in this culture it seems to be rude, and B, it gives away too much. Not that she's hiding anything very well. He was Chino was more like family to me than most of the people I've spent time with. He was he was my big brother, my overprotective big brother.
Well, he still is your brother.
And she'll kind of turn watering eyes over to him in a puzzled fashion.
He has not left. His body may no longer function in the material world that we understand, but he's not gone. For
She
all, huh?
she just kind of purses her lips tightly.
See, all this world all around us, it's an illusion. It's a very potent illusion. The Weaver has much power here, but it cannot deny the fact that Gaia is the only truth that matters. And from Gaia comes us, and in time we return. For there is only one, and there can only be one. Just because his physical form is gone, it doesn't diminish that he himself is gone.
No, he's an ancestor now.
As he is of Gaia, and you are of Gaia. Therefore, you both are together.
And she kind of musters a weak grin.
There's no force in this world that could separate that.
He's still my big brother, but it's not the same without him here.
I understand. But he will always be here with you.
Not being able to see him, though, or to hear him. It seems stupid. I dreaded him meeting one of my friends so much. Because I thought he'd scare him away, and now I'm just sad that he never will.
Well, maybe the reason that you cannot see him or hear him is because you're not looking with the proper senses.
She'll take a minute to kind of steady her breath, calm herself down. She's already shedding tears. And once she's had a moment to steady her voice again, we'll turn an almost pleading glance on the stargazer. How do you see or hear someone who's gone?
Do not look with your eyes, and do not listen with your ears. Inside of you, the true you, the you that is connected to the mother. It is that in which you need to learn to look.
Like the people who can hear their ancestors.
In a sense, yes. And when you sleep and you dream,
I wouldn't say I really dream lately.
we all dream. Whether or not we remember it, that's another story.
Oh no, I remember. It just hasn't been as easy as dreaming. Lost control of myself yesterday. I couldn't shake the dream off even when I woke up. I dread to think of Chino being in my dreams when my dreams are that bad.
Well, maybe he'll be there to protect you from the bad.
And that actually startles an earnest little, almost hopeful smile out of her. He would.
I've only met the man once, but he seemed very honorable.
He was. He took care of his people and he took care of me. And I know that this life is hard and I know that it's short, but I never thought Chino would be gone this fast.
Time is another one of those illusions created by the Weaver.
It's a very compelling illusion.
It is. That's why the Weaver is as strong as it is. It's because we believe everything that she tells us. But if you learn to separate the webbing from your eyes, you will see the one truth.
And she kind of knits her brows and kind of chews on that for a second. It was quiet. Kind of stubbornly brings a hand up to rub on her cheeks. It's not really helping because, I mean, it's not that she's crying excessively, but the tears are coming with just frequency enough that by the time she's got her face clear and others leaking out of one of her eyes. I can't imagine being able to pull away the web so hard that everything we think is real is gone.
Even the oldest among us struggle with that.
But if being able to do that meant I'd even sort of feel Chino still being here, it seems like something worth learning.
Well, he is still here. Just act as if he still was.
I think people would look at me a little funny if I started talking to myself.
I mean, others' opinions really have no effect.
Uh, it's a little harder than that.
but you can still be with him, take care of his family, honor him in your drinks and your stories. Just talk about your experiences with him.
Oh, we will. Once the ride is done, I'll come back here. And drink and sing and cry and tell stories until I can't stand up anymore.
And you still have a pack.
I do. It's just strange. I mean, Lucas is like my mischievous kid brother, and Olaf, he's like a grumpy old uncle, but Chino was like my big brother. That really protective, really pushy, sometimes kind of mean, but for good reason, big brother.
Well, as I said, he really is your brother. You two are connected. Just because your earthly parents may not be the same, it doesn't weaken the connection from your true mother.
Oh, I know. It was never about bloodline. It's just... I know he's not gone, like, not oblivion gone, but I wish I could see him. I wish I knew where to go on the other side that I could see him.
Go to his family. You'll see him there. Go to the places that he loved to dwell at. You will find him there. The stories that you tell, he'll be there. When you sleep, he'll be there.
It's not the same. I know it should be enough, and I know that I'm being selfish, but it's not the same.
That's understandable. There is something to be said about the bonds of the physical self that we share. But it's no different than when you lose an elder, a grandmother, or a grandfather.
I almost think it wouldn't have been as bad if he'd been that old, if he'd had a time to do everything. But we were just starting.
Unfortunately, that's the ugly truth of the world we live in. We fight a war that we cannot tell others about. We see horrors that no one could truly understand without having their minds break.
I know it's childish to say it, but it's not fair.
No, nothing childish about that. And it does feel unfair at times.
And depending on how close he's sitting, Maeve will probably finally just give up and kind of lean over and put her chin on his shoulder. Because, well, fuck it.
Oh.
But yeah, it's like the Kind of not childish quite, but it's just kind of that kid sister lean.
This is what my tribe would refer to as the first noble truth.
What's that?
It's the first truth is that life is suffering. Life includes pain, getting old, disease, hunger, and ultimately death. We endure psychological suffering, loneliness, frustration, fear, embarrassment, disappointment, and anger. This is irrefutable and cannot be denied. Some people would think of it as being pessimistic, but that's not right. Pessimists only look for things to be bad. Instead, we see things as they are. And with that, we have to learn how to move on to find happiness.
I mean, I can't say it isn't bad, but it wasn't always bad.
No, of course not.
Do your other truths say something about how to get past it being so bad?
Well, when you first come to realize the first, then you would move on to the second. The second truth is that suffering is caused by craving and aversion. We will suffer if we expect other people to conform to our expectations. If we want others to like us, if we do not get something we want. Getting what you want does not guarantee happiness. Rather than constantly struggling to get what you want, try to modify your wanting. Wanting deprives you of contentment and happiness. A lifetime of wanting and craving, and especially the craving to continue to exist, creates a powerful energy which causes the individual to be born. So craving leads to physical suffering because it causes us to be reborn.
You said reborn?
Yes, to be reborn.
I've heard of ancestors. I've heard that people who have passed can still be with us, but I've never heard about a spirit taking a new body, not the same person.
I don't think that quite means what you think it means. It
Maybe.
means we reform ourselves, who we are, by what
Oh,
we desire and what we want. Now, the third truth is that suffering can be overcome and happiness can be attained. That true happiness and contentment are possible. But we have to give up useless cravings and learn to live each day at the time, not dwelling in the past or the imagined future. Then we can become happy. Then we have more time and energy to help others. That is what they refer to as nirvana.
it sounds very similar in some ways to what people tell me is the Fiona way.
Well, yes, your tribe is known for being very passionate and embracing the moment.
Yeah. If you embrace the moment, you can be happy and enjoy the moment. But if you think about what's happened or what's coming, suddenly it throws everything in a different light. It makes you dread or regret. I don't think there's enough booze in the world to make this okay.
Well, do not look to the external for comfort. What you need for your comfort lies within yourself.
I'm really bad at it.
We all are.
And she'll finally grab out another tissue or two and blow her nose to clear it. Pitch it in the little wastebasket nearby. How can you possibly find a way to be happy right in the wake of something like this?
When you realize that you're being lied to by the Weaver, and you learn to look past it and see the truth of it all, you will find true happiness. When you see all your brothers and sisters that you thought gone are still right there with you, and that you are truly not alone.
But I mean, of course, there's everything that they taught you, and all the things they did still happened, but there are some. Chino, I guess, died a good death, or as good as we can expect, but what about people like Talia, who died in the thrall, and they haven't gone to the homelands, they haven't gone to be with their ancestors, they've gone to the dark places of the Umbra.
That is because they are still attached to a materialistic idea. To be enthralled is to be consumed by the anger that you feel at your mother suffering. But they too are not lost. In time, they too can learn to release that which is holding them back and return to which they've come from.
She knits her brow a little bit. It's not like deep processing. She just kind of considers the idea, but doesn't seem to really cling to it. So what do your people do when somebody passes, when they die?
Well, much like the other tribes, we perform the rites for the departed. We we wish them well. We tell stories of their deeds, and we understand that they're not truly gone, that these still reside with us, and we continue to fight to remove the influences of the Weaver to that final day when the worm is returned to balance and the Weaver is restored to her rightful place.
Do you think we can really do it?
I am not so naive enough to think that, all battles will be victorious, but I am not without hope. But I cannot worry about tomorrow. I can only worry about today.
If you can't worry about tomorrow, how can you possibly plan? What happens if we do defeat all the minions of the worm, what happens when that day comes that we have to fight the worm itself or return it to its original purpose?
I do not have those answers. That is beyond my level of understanding at the moment.
And on the bright side, he's got her kind of thinking more than wallowing at this point. So the tears have slowed. Her eyes are still red, but at least she's thinking. It sounds almost impossible, because what happens when you believe that the defining things, the things that the Weavers defined, like reality, like life and death, what happens when you finally get to where you don't believe in those anymore? How can you keep living and fighting?
Well, if you don't believe there's anything worth fighting for, then you've already lost. You've already accepted the truth that the Weaver has told you, and accepted the truth that the worm will win.
What happens when you don't believe the Weaver and you don't believe in living and dying, in being gone when you die? Doesn't it make it harder to fight to live? And to fight to do the things that we have to do?
I'm afraid I don't understand that question.
Well, you said that there is that living and dying, that being alive versus not. You said it's something that is defined by the Weaver. And then it's the Weaver that makes you believe that once someone is dead, they are gone. So if you shake off the Weaver's definitions, like truly shake them off, how do you even know anymore when you are alive or aren't?
When you reach that step of understanding, it is believed that you will truly be free and you will be once more connected to your mother.
It's kind of confusing.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say my tribe isn't known for being confusing.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm just at a point where I don't know what to do except cry and keep a brave face when I'm out, when I have duties, and come back here and cry some more.
Well, if that is what's helping you on your journey,
I guess I can always hope that it'll help with the nightmares. I think if Chino was there, it wouldn't be so terrifying. It wouldn't be so bad.
well, I believe he will be there, and he will be watching over you, and he will help keep the nightmares away.
think that's something I can afford to believe. I can afford to hope for. Thank you, Jesse.
It was my pleasure.
Have you talked to Olaf?
No, not yet. He did offer to talk to me.
He'll probably be a harder sell, but he probably needs it more than I do or anyone else. I know he loved Chino and Lily. It's got to be twice as hard.
As a den father, I can only imagine. And as a brother,
I mean, he doesn't. I don't think he gets as close to the Cubs anymore as he used to. But Lucas and Chino and I think he let himself get almost too close. I see why Garrett pulled away now.
well, he is a son of thunder, and they are known for having a different view on life than most others. And Olaf is a child of Fenris, and their views can be very drastic versus what we may consider normal.
They're good people, though.
I believe so.
You should find him and Lucas. I don't know about Garrett. I don't think he's going to want to talk to anyone.
In time, he will find those that he needs to speak to. No one can hold back the flood of emotions for too long.
I'm sure Olaf will get to him eventually. Okay. I think I have it together. Maybe. At least enough to get to Den Father's cabin.
Just one step at a time is all you need to take.
Yeah. Thank you, Dashi. I was kind of caught in a loop.
Of course, whatever I can do to help.
And she finally sits herself up a little bit more, and but she'll loop out an arm and kind of hug him around the shoulders. I appreciate it.
He will return a hug.
Yay! At which point she does kind of like little sister mode, which is essentially like he puts up the arm and she like shrugs under it so that she can hug him around the chest.
He won't fight it.
You know, for a new guy, you're pretty cool.
Well, I hope so.
Seems like everyone's kind of got a thing come to the Sept and they've got their own baggage. And you're here and You're just trying to help everyone with the baggage we already have instead of bringing your own.
Oh, that's a story for another time. But yes,
I remember some of it, but I don't think yeah, another time. It'd be neat to hear more about it if you're game to talk about it.
of course.
All right. And she'll finally go about the process of standing herself up, rub at her face some more. Definitely not helping with the fact that she's all splotchy and red.
Smeared mascara.
Thankfully, Maeve rarely wears makeup and certainly doesn't apply new makeup after sobbing because that would just be ridiculous and she'd have the crazy raccoon eyes. She'd look like a crying clown. It would be terrible.
You look like Naomi.
Okay. Thank you for giving me something to stand on, getting my feet under me. I'm gonna get my things and go stay with Olaf tonight, I think. You're a good guy, Deshi.
I try.
Much appreciated. And she'll finally take a couple steps towards the door, flick it open again, and finally just now seem to notice the trays sitting out in the hall, and a guilty look will kind of flit across her features. And I'm making people worry. Well, I guess if you want anything to eat, she just kind of looks from one tray to the other and winces a little. Well, yeah.
Oh, you know, you could take us to Chino's family.
His family are offset, and I'm not in much condition to try to find where Abuela lives. I think we'll go talk to them. Or Gaia help me, they'll come to the parking lot to visit, and we'll have to explain here. I'll take this to Olaf's cabin. Maybe I can get Garrett to eat. Maybe I can get Olaf and Lucas to eat.
That would be good.
Yeah. And she'll offer a hand to clasp again, just gratefully. It actually shows on her face that she's truly appreciative of the support that's been offered.
He will take it.
I hope we see more of you, Deshi. There's a lot of crazy shit going on. It'd be nice to have someone well balanced to run with.
Well, I'm not heading anywhere for a while, so yes.
And she'll nod and let his hand go and kind of shift towards the door. Thanks again. I'll go back.
Anytime. And he will turn and head away.
And he will probably catch grateful glances here and there from the various kinfolk around the building as he heads out. Because after all, she's stopped sobbing audibly. Always a bonus. And they'll see him out as Maeve goes about picking up a few things and packing those trays to take with her. And with that, we will say, I think, thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And we will see you next time on the Ultimate Fields train. Good night.